Hey guys, Pogasic29 here, and welcome to episode number 8 of Paintball Coding. In this video, we are finally going to implement listeners. Now, what we are going to do for the listeners in this episode is we're going to make some listeners, and I'm sure that I will forget some. So in this video, we're going to make all the ones that I can think of, and once we do that, then you guys can comment at the end of the video with any listeners that I missed, and I can add them. Now, I don't want to add any new features. I really don't want to add any new features. But I will, if there's an essential listener that's very important that I missed, then let me know. And if I do not get to lobby sign in this episode, which I think I probably will, if I do not, I will get to it. It is right there on my list. It has its own little section, so I will get to it. You guys don't need to worry. I'm also going to remove these stats just because this series is taking a long time to do. I'm going to have to cut back on making my videos very soon, and I have about a week until school starts, and I want to finish up Paintball before that starts. I will probably make the remaining Paintball videos before school starts, and then I may need to take a short break when school starts. I will be able to post over the weekends, but I need to figure out how I can balance my schedule and see how much time I have as far as posting videos on weekdays. Before we begin, other than that, just one quick thing. We are getting pretty close to the test. We just have our listeners, 1 or 2 episodes, and then scoreboard, which I will add in only because people have confusion about that. And then we're going to test. So, if anyone either owns a server hosting company or has a server of their own, and they would like to allow me to use it for testing, that would be very helpful. Basically, what I would need to do is I would need a server where I could upload a paintball map. I can supply the map. I would need op status on the server, and I would need to have access for, a few other people, maybe around 9 other people to come on the server and, test Pogo Ball with me. So if you're interested in taking me up on that offer, it's probably better if you email me, pogasic29dev@gmail.com, and give me some details, and I will shout out either your server or your server hosting company, and if it's for a server, and then I can, when I bring my testers on, then then there will be some people on your server, so that could be beneficial to you. So just let me know about that. Alright, let's go ahead and get started because I'm stalling right now. So let's go ahead and make a new package. me.pogasic29dev.pogoball.listeners. And we're going to make a new, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep all of the listeners inside of here, and then at the end of the video we're going to register all of them. So the first listener we're going to make is a block break. So I'm just calling it block break for a block break event, because we want to stop the people from breaking blocks. And this is the easiest way to do it. Rather than getting involved with World Guard and regions, all we need to do is make a simple on block break, and this is a block break event E, and import that. And we can say if arena manager dot get instance dot get arena for e.getPlayer is if it's not equal to null, e.set canceled true. And that's all it takes. Basically, what we're doing, and we're going to do this a lot, is we're saying if the arena for the player is not equal to null, as in if they are in an arena, then we are calling set canceled on them. And good. That's all we need to do there. The next one we're going to do, this is going to be a little bit more involved. This is going to actually handle the snowballs. So I'm just going to call it Snowball Listeners. I don't want to call it Snowball because there is a Snowball class. So Snowball Listeners implements listener. And our at event handler public void on player interact event e. So the first one is going to be, the way that we have it set up is the player will be given one snowball in their hand, and when they right-click with it, it will launch a snowball. This means that they will have unlimited snowballs. You could implement, something different. You could just give them a number of snowballs and not worry about this listener. But we can go ahead and say if e.getAction equals action dot right-click air and e.getAction equals action dot right-click block, then return. So if they don't right-click, pretty much, then we're just stopping it right there. And then we're going to say if e.getItem. So if e.getItem I believe we want to say instance of snowball. What's wrong with that? No. Get. No. Okay. So there we go. I think that should work. If e.get data instance of snowball. I'm not sure if that's correct. So let's just go ahead and say if e.getItem.getType equals material.snowball, then snowball s equals snowball e.getItem. And that should, oh, you know what, I'm sorry. We don't even need to do that. So if the type is a snowball, then we can go ahead and fire the snowball. So we can go ahead and say snowball s equals e.getPlayer dot shoot. No, sorry. It is e.getPlayer dot getWorld dot no, I'm sorry. It is e.getPlayer dot launch projectile. There we go. And we need to give it snowball.class. Import snowball. So what this is doing is we're having the snowball variable called s, and it's equal to, we're launching the projectile snowball.class. So basically, the player is going to be launching a snowball, and now we have access to that snowball, so you can change different things about it, basically. And I don't believe that we need to change anything, so we can just go ahead and say e.getPlayer.launchProjectile. If you wanted to change something with the snowball, then you know how. Second thing we're going to do is the interacting. So public void on entity damage, and this is an entity damage by entity event. Now we're going to say if exclamation point e dot get damager, e dot get entity instance of player, and exclamation point e dot get damager instance of snowball return. So if the entity that got hurt is not a player and the damager is not a snowball, then we don't really care. Then we can go ahead and say player p equals player e.get entity. And we can say snowball s equals snowball e.get damager. Now we can go ahead and say if s.getShooter instance of player, sorry, we can just say if exclamation point instance of player return. And then we can go ahead and say player shooter equals player s.getShooter. And we can, okay, so now we have the player that got damaged, the snowball, and the shooter. Now, I'm trying to remember how we're going to handle, I think that what we're going to do is we're going to handle with a death event. So what will happen is every time the player gets damaged, we're going to go ahead and say p.damage for, let's say, so for this we're going to go ahead and say p.damage 5.0, and you can even delete that line, we don't really need that. So you can go ahead and say p.damage 5.0, and what that should do, if I'm not mistaken, is it should damage the player 4 hearts. And what this, no, I'm sorry, not 4 hearts, I guess 2.5. And what that should do is I believe that the number is between 0.0 and 20.0. So this should damage them by 1/4, which means that once they take 4 hits, then they will die, and then we will make a death listener. And one more quick thing, let me see if I can remember exactly which one this is, but we want to I think we want to stop them from regenerating health. That's up to you. You can handle that however you want, but I believe it's an entity health event or something like that. I don't exactly remember what it is. Entity regain health event, I was close. And then we'll just go ahead and say if e.getEntity instance of player. Oh, and that reminds me, one thing that we also want to do is we want to say if arena manager dot get instance dot get arena for e.getPlayer is equal to null, return. So if they're not in arena, we want to return. And we also need to do that for here, except we need to change it for P. So if the damaged player is not in the arena, then we can just stop right there. Then we can say player P equals player e.getEntity. If it does not contain player, if the player is not in arena, return. Otherwise, e.set canceled true. I believe that's what we want to do. Just in case, I'll put e.set amount to 0.0. But I believe e.set canceled true should be okay for that. So those are the snowball listeners that we need to do. Now let's go ahead and make our player death. Implements listener. And at event handler public void on player death event e, import everything, and then we are going to say if, and I think we already have that, yes, and instead of e.getPlayer, it's e.getEntity equals null. Then we can say arena manager dot get instance dot get arena e.getPlayer, and it's e.getEntity dot remove player e.getEntity. So that should be good, and the remove player, oh yeah, I guess we didn't add the remove player, so let's go ahead and quickly add that. So we can go ahead, and before we remove them, we want to say player data pd equals get data for p. Then we want to say p.getInventory.clear, p.getInventory.add item, pd.getInventory.getContents, p.getInventory.set armor contents, pd.getInventory.get armor contents. And then we need to say p.teleport pd.get location and players.remove pd. And I believe that undoes, yes, that does undo everything that we did. And alright, that looks good. So now when it removes the player, it will teleport them back and do everything. And then we can go ahead and say message manager.getInstance.info to player. And we'll just go ahead and say you lost the game. And then we can also do msg p.getName lost the game. So we can tell everyone that they're out. Hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's see. We stop the block breaking, we handle the snowball throwing, and we have the player death. One thing I'm going to quickly add in the damage right here is we are going to need player shooter equals player s.get shooter, and we're going to move this down, and we're going to say equals null and arena manager.getInstance.get arena for shooter is equal to null. Then we're going to return. Then we're going to say if then we can go ahead and say arena a equals arena manager.getInstance.get arena for player. Import that. Then we can say if a.get team p equals a.get team shooter, return. So if they're both on the same team, then we're going to stop them. Otherwise, we are going to do the damage. So let me go ahead and try to clean this up a little bit. Alright, that should clean it up a little bit. Alright. So I'm trying to think of any listeners that I could have possibly missed. I'm sure that I'm missing a few. In fact, let me just pause the video for a second. Just quickly going through a few things we may have missed. I have one for armor remove, and I guess we probably want to use that. So I'm going to take the quick way out of this and copy it and paste it. Change declaration, and then all we need to do is arena manager.getInstance.get arena for is not equal to null, and we need to say if exclamation point e.get who clicked instance of player return player p equals player e.get who clicked. And then we can just go ahead and say p. And basically what we're doing here is this is an inventory click event, and we're saying the players who clicked, if they are in an arena and it's an armor slot type, then we're canceling the event. And in fact, I'd say we probably want to stop anything from happening. I can't think of any reason why they would need to move stuff around in their inventory. Block break we already did. Oh yes, we have a player attack. So we need to stop players from hurting each other, because that would not be good. So all we need to say if e.get damager instance of player p equals player e.get damager. So if arena manager.get instance .get arena for p.get for player is not equal to null. So if the player's arena is not null, then we're canceling it. I have a chat. Wow, that's for I think I started a rank system, which I never finished. This one stops other commands from being performed, which I'm not going to put in, but it's not that hard to do. Player death. Oh yeah, that was a bad way of handling it. This was, oh yes, we need to add the player. When the player leaves, we need to remove them from the game. So we need to have a player leave. Implements listener at event handler public void on player leave event e, and I think it's player quit event. Yeah, it is player quit event. And then we can go ahead and say if arena, let's just go ahead and say arena A equals arena manager dot get instance dot get arena for dot get arena for e dot get player. If A equals null, return A dot remove player e dot get player. So we're just removing the player. When they leave, if they are in an arena, then we want to remove them. And that's all we need to do for that. There's another, I guess a food level change event. I guess we could probably add that in. That just handles, so players won't get hungry. So, get arena, and again we need to say if e dot get entity, if exclamation point e dot get entity instance of player, return. And then just a little pro tip, in case you guys didn't know this, you can go ahead and say get arena for, and you can actually do the casting like I believe you can do for player e dot get entity. And I did not. Oh yes, is not. So if it's not null, okay. So what we did is, rather than doing player p equals player dot get entity, we did the casting inside of there, which is a good thing to know. All right. Player teleport. Oh, I think because I had ender pearls in this, but we don't need to worry about that. Oh yes, join signs. There's the. Oh wow, that's a lot of code. And then, oh yes, tag API. I am not going to implement tag API for two reasons. The first reason is because you guys already know how to do that. I made a video dedicated to tag API, so you guys can do that easily. And the second reason is I don't really want to take the time to do it. Oh yeah, the third reason is because I do give them a colored wool face, so there's not really a need. Now, as far as the signs, alright, next time I'm going to do the signs should be pretty quick, and I will also add a scoreboard, I guess. Before we go, quickly, I'm just going to show you guys that the way that I like to schedule I register the events is bucket.getServer.getPluginManager.register events, it's register events, new armor remove, comma, this. And I just go down the list in alphabetical order and register all the events. And if I add a new one, then I put it in alphabetical order. It just makes it easier. Alright, so that's, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. Alright, and we're changing this from armor remove to block break to player attack to player death to player leave to player lose hunger to Snowball Listeners. Alright, so that is all for this video. You guys learned how to add some listeners to the plugin. All that is left to do is lobby signs and scoreboards, and number's wrong. Lobby signs, scoreboards, and then we're going to test. So if you have a server hosting company or a testing server and you would like to let me borrow your server for a solid half an hour, 45 minutes, that would be awesome. Send me an email. As far as testers, don't write any comments yet. I think I can take care of that in the next video, or just get some people to do the testing with me that I know. So, as always, subscribe if you want to see more, comment with what you want to learn, and if you liked this video, hit the like button, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.